Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to make my original design, the Archimedes Bracelet, and I made this up myself. And I made this up about a week and a half ago, I think. And I originally had put bling on it, or like beads, and this is what it looked like. So I was really happy with this, and I decided to make it without all of the fancy stuff, and this is what it looked like. And a lot of you guys wanted a tutorial on this, so today I'm going to show you how to make it. I will have my Instagram name in the description box below if you want to check that out, and if you haven't already. I'm not going to bring it up here in front of the camera just because it's mine, and I'll have it in the description box below, but I'm going to go ahead and just get started. So what you're going to want is a hook, 7 bar pins, but you can also make this on 4 bar pins because there is a single chain in the middle. Lately I've been making a lot of designs that can be made on 7 or 4 pins, depending on how many you have or how many you want to use. Obviously if you only use 4 bar pins you will have to transfer half of it over, but on both sides it looks pretty similar, if not the same, so I don't think it really matters when you transfer how it looks or like what side it's on. So anyway, and then you're going to need a C-clip if I haven't already said that, and some colors. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is lay the border here, and that I used denim blue for. Today I am using lime green jelly. And first thing you're going to do is start on the center and just go over to the left, and if I can grab some bands, over to the right. And then you're going to go up and out twice to the outside here, and then same thing on the other side, just up and out. And then what you're going to do is create a single chain going down till you reach the third to last peg on both of these sides, and I will show you what to do when I get up there and like how to close it off, and then I'll show you what bands to place next. Alright, so once you reach the third to last peg on both sides, you're going to go up into the center twice. Same on the other side. And once you get up there, just go ahead and place 2 bands across the center to close it. And then once you have all of that set up, you're going to come back to the beginning of your loom. And the next thing that we're going to be doing is placing these neon yellow bands on the sides. You can use 1 or 2 different colors if you want, just kind of depending on what you want to do. I'm using 1 color today, just like I did in this bracelet, and that's going to be dark green. So starting here on this peg, you're going to go straight forward, and then you're going to go down to the outside, straight forward, down to the outside. Same on the other side, straight forward, and down to the outside. So you're just going to go ahead and do this all the way down the loom, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end, and then I'll show you what bands to place next. So once you reach this point, what you're going to want to do is just go straight forward one last time, over here as well, and you're just going to end by going straight there. And then once you finish that, go ahead and come back to the beginning of your loom. And the next bands that we're going to place is, or the next band that we're going to place is this Arctic blue band here that kind of connects the center to the outside. And for that, I'm using the Tarantula Glow bands. And what you're going to do is, starting on this peg here, go up and into the center, and then from here up and into the center, and just go ahead and do that all the way down the loom. And it's the same thing, just on the other side, it's just a mirror. So starting here, go up into the center, and so on, down until you reach the end of your loom. And I'll show you what it looks like when I get there, and then show you what comes next. Alright, so once you have placed all of those bands, it should look like this, and you're going to stop here because we have this border band here, so we don't want to place any bands on top of that. Then once you have finished that, come back to the beginning of your loom. The next thing that we're going to be doing is placing these navy blue jelly bands in here, and for that I am going to be using the lime green jelly again. So I am using multiple colors, like multiple times, I guess, in this bracelet, so don't get confused, it is the navy blue jelly in this bracelet. So what you're going to do is start here on this peg. You're going to go stretch it up and into the top, like the third center here, and then same thing on the other side, stretch it into the third center peg here. Go up to the second peg, pull up into the fourth center, up into the fourth center. So you're going to do a pretty long stretch. I would probably recommend jelly or opaque bands, not necessarily the dual layer or limited edition, because they do tend to get pretty stretched out and I don't want them to snap on you. So you're going to go ahead and do this all the way down until you reach the end of your loom, and then we have a couple more layers to place. We have a couple more layers to place, and then we will be ready to start looping. Once you get to the top of your loom, you're going to stop here once you reach that end peg and put those bands off to the side and then come back to the beginning of your loom. The next thing we're going to do is place the bands that are the neon yellow in here. So they're kind of underneath of the navy blue here, and they're pretty cool looking. So anyway, I'm going to be using dark green again for this. And what you're going to do is do something similar to what you did with these green bands, just one peg shorter. So starting on this same peg, you're going to go up into the second center peg rather than the third peg up here. So over here, go up into the center, and that's the second peg, and then just go up into the center here and here. So you're just doing a short stretch for this part before you were doing a long stretch. So go ahead and do this down the rest of your loom, and then I'll show you your last layer that you have to place, then your cap bands, and then we can start the looping process. And then same thing at the end. Stop once you get here to this last peg and come back to the beginning of your loom. Last thing we have to do is place this single chain in the center of the loom. I used opaque ocean blue for that. And I'm going to be using tarantula one more time. So what you're going to do is just place a single chain down the center. This will also separate the 4-pin from the 7-pin versions. So if you were only doing the 4-pin version, you would just do 1/2, then place the single chain, and then transfer that single chain once you've placed the other half and taken this off. Alright, once you've placed your single chain, go ahead and put those bands aside and turn your loom around so that the arrows are pointing towards you. We have 3 cap bands to place, and I'm using my border color for them all. So go ahead and get your hook, and we're going to triple cap the first one. So put a triple cap on this peg right here, and then what you're going to do is triple cap again and place it on the opposite side on this peg. And then last thing you have to do is take this one and just regular cap on that center peg. So once you have your cap bands placed and all of these other bands placed, go ahead and grab your hook, and we're going to start the looping process. So first thing we have to do is just simply loop up this single chain band. So it should just be the first band under your cap band. Just pull it forward and loop it to itself all the way down till you reach the end of the loom. This is probably the simplest step you'll do in this bracelet. Just grabbing one band and looping it onto itself all the way down. And once we get past this simple part, then we get into a little bit more complex looping steps. So I've looped mine all the way up here to the top. Go ahead and come back to the beginning of your loom. What we're going to do is kind of loop these dark green and lime green jelly bands at the same time. It's a little bit of a weird looping process, so make sure to pay attention. What you're going to do is go underneath of the cap band. You're going to grab the dark green band, but you're not going to pull it to itself. Instead, you're going to pull it to that peg above it, where this lime green band comes all the way down and connects to here. So go underneath here, grab the dark green, and pull it up to this peg. So it's going to be pretty tight underneath here. And then you're going to go back underneath, and you're going to grab the top lime green jelly band. And again, don't loop it to itself, loop it down one actually. So before we loop this up one, we're going to loop this down one now. Go back in and grab the other one and loop it down. So we're going to kind of switch the two band colors that we're looping. So again, go underneath of here, grab the dark green. Instead of pulling it to itself, pull it to the lime green's home post, and then same thing with the other one. And pull it one peg up there. Then this one you're going to pull one peg down, and this peg one peg, or this band one peg down. And you're going to do that all the way down the loom. What I like to do when I finish looping is take this single chain band off here and just kind of loop it over. And then go up to the next peg. I'm going to grab this dark green and pull it up here. And this one, pull it up here. If this comes off, just pull it back on, because we need that cap band. I'm going to pull that over there and over there, and then I just like to lift that off. But it's optional if you lift the single chain band off. I just like to do it for myself. So just go ahead and keep doing this all the way down the loom, and then I'll show you what to do next. Then when you get up to the top, you're going to notice you have these two dark green bands up here. And what you're going to do is just simply loop these back to themselves, so it's a little bit different than what we've been doing before. We're just going to loop these two dark green bands back to themselves, and then you can release that single chain band if you like. And once you have finished looping all of that up, go ahead and come back to the beginning of your loom. We have a couple more layers to loop here. So what we're going to do next is loop these tarantula bands, and this looping step is very simple. You're just going to go underneath of these bands, grab the tarantula band and pull it to itself. Same here, just grab the tarantula band and pull it to itself. And just go ahead and do this all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. There's no really special looping for this part. You're just looping each band back to themselves, and then once you get to the end, do the other side, and then we have 2 more layers to loop. Okay, once you've looped all of those out to themselves, this is probably the first time you're going to want to push down these bands that you just looped. The other times you were looping outwards, so you didn't really need to. But once you have finished that, come back to the beginning of your loom. Also, if you want to reduce the stress on this cap band, you can just take it off and leave it on this peg for now. You will have to put it back on later, but it's just temporary in case you are using a cap band that might get a little bit stretched out. So anyway, I'm going to leave mine there, and then when I go to loop the border, I'll put it back on. And what we're now going to do is loop these dark green bands on the outside. So go underneath of this triple cap here. You're going to grab the top dark green band, and you're going to pull it forward. Then go underneath of all those bands. There's only a couple. You're going to grab the top green and pull it out to itself. Then the bottom green and pull it straight forward. Again in here. Top green out to itself, bottom green straight forward. You should just be looping all of these bands to themselves down the loom. If you are not, then you probably placed the bands differently than I did. Just loop the band that goes out to the side, and then the band that goes straight forward. So go ahead and do this all the way down till you reach the end of the loom, and then I'll show you what to do next. And repeat this on the other side. Once you finish looping all of those bands, you should end by going up to the top 2 pegs here. Then go ahead and push down all of the bands that connect to your border. And you're going to come back to the beginning of your loom, and the last thing that we're going to do is loop the border. So here I have my cap band that I took off to relieve stress. You're going to bring it back onto this peg, and then you're going to loop out the top border band to itself, the bottom border band to itself, and then loop out, and then go under the triple cap and loop this out. Same here, loop it out once, then go under the triple cap and loop the next one out. Then you can loop this up. I'm going to loop mine up twice on each side. Then I'm going to take off all these bottom bands here so that my bands don't get stretched out or snapped. And then I'm going to continue to loop up all of my border bands, and I'll show you how to close this off, and then you can take this off the loom. Once you reach the top, just go ahead and grab that band, loop it up into the center, and then horizontally across into the very center peg, and then same on the other side, up into the center twice, and then horizontally across. Take one extension band or two, however many you like to use when you pull your loom or your bracelet off the loom, and go ahead and attach both ends to your hook, and then we're going to just simply pull this off the loom. It shouldn't be too tight to pull off the loom, but it is a wide bracelet, so it is a little bit difficult to pull off the loom, especially if you are doing the 7-pin version. But I think the end result is worth it. I really like this design, and I'm pretty proud of it, so I hope it turns out good. Okay, so once you take it off, just give this a little pull. You can pull these out to the side. You can untwist any bands that might be twisted. Just kind of fiddle with it, make it look nice and pretty, and then attach your clip here and an extension. Obviously for me, I'm going to need an extension, but that's all I'm going to have for this video. So thank you for watching. Make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll have my Instagram name in the description box below if you want to check that out. And I always post my original designs on Instagram before I post them here on YouTube. So if you want a sneak peek or a preview of my original designs that I'll have on YouTube, you can check them out there. But that's all I'm going to have for this video, so I hope to see you next time.